they got Velcro shoes on today. Meanwhile, there's a feather there. so fast.
Oh, it's so gusty out here, Todd. I think it's hard to call. In general, the breeze has been looking better on the left-hand side, away from Lady Whitney, but you saw the gain that Emirates Great Britain got. I mean, being out in front gives you the opportunity to link the gusts together, and I think linking together and staying on the foils is going to be the key to it.
So what we have is this a race where if you have
that big wing, they just sailed away. I think they did everything right, so I mean, it's tough to call it is overtaking the place, but yeah, if you're out in front, it is yours to lose because you got first call on the long go.
I just see them executing brilliantly. That's stressed the easy work, which was really up in the pack. The Arctic is the big movers. They're up to fourth, but they're moving. They've got a good breeze there on the racetrack. France picked up a penalty early, so potentially it could be another game for the Swedish team. Another penalty, so they are a little admired. They're very back up the pack. Stevie and I just wonder, quick math, even if you win, let's say races 2 and 3, and you finish 11th, so no points, can you get into the final on 20 points? It's so subjective because it depends what everyone else manages to do. And we've seen the fleet so tight now. Consistency is really, really hard to achieve. So we'll find that out after the 3 races. But what is for sure is you don't want to be back there. Avoid it. Battle here again between Sport Swiss and Red Bull Italy. And this time, Robertson gets the inside line. So Schneider stays very wide. Wing triple pulled out. As he's saying, the British have found themselves one line win. I think that was when they were down in that bottom corner off their right turn. They've stretched out now, they've got themselves back in the breeze. They might have lost a little distance, but they should have control of things now.
Super easy conditions to sail the boat. You can see just touching that right-hand pole down there, but then lifting back up again. Blue Parkinson, one of the best flight controllers in the fleet, but you can just see how the water's moving underneath the boat there. Keeping that stability is going to be really important.
Yeah, and we're looking at the Oracle Cloud here. We've got a new graphic, we've got the stability graphic. That graph, as smooth as that line can be, the better the flight control. And Parkinson's pretty much got it in a straight line. It's going to wobble through a manoeuvre, that goes without saying. But 93% accuracy, that's pretty impressive by the Brits. But again, that's so much easier when you're out in front.
How does the dynamic change as you look at your own team out there, Hannah Diamond, Emirates GBR out in front with a massive lead? Remember, there's one less sailor on board as you drop down to 5 people on board.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously lacking a lot of power at the front when that grinder steps off to sail with 5 people, but it's all about how you kind of rejig the roles on board. The roles are super busy, and it's really important to be adaptable to these conditions. This is actually a configuration we've done quite a few times this season, and actually for the US, it seems to play to their strengths with keeping Anna Weiss where she is forwards without having this kind of stretch just right at the back. So I'd expect to see them kind of perform well in these conditions.
Steve, yesterday, obviously, we talked about the craning situation, getting boats in and being able to get some time on the water. It was just Spain, USL GP team, and Emirates GBR. How much of that do you attribute to the way Emirates is sailing today? Because the last couple of events, a lot of investment today, like the old Emirates GBR.
Yeah, I mean, I think Charlie Kirk to be out there and not really trying to run the boat.
Yeah.
係啊係啊係啊，嗰個係 out of control 啦嘛已經。Yeah，I didn't get anything anyway。我呢個唔夠歪啊，係即係佢係點樣啊？太近啦。走咗曬佢又咁靚，排到咁靚嘅時候，我係咯。
Let's go. USA. So funny, dude. The Italian.
而家開始啦，係嘛？我覺得佢哋開始啦，應該佢話佢比賽緊㗎，我睇嗰邊個，佢聽住個 radio。就你啊！間唔飛起嘅。邊個飛起？好似玩嘢嘅，都唔知吸唔吸嘅。嚇？咁佢話去之後就要去嗰邊呢個支持咁走喎。嗱，呢個咪呢度一嚿咯，呢度一嚿咯，咁樣去翻嚟咁啊要兜嘅嘛。 就走完啦？嚇？咁即係又走完啦？係咯？嚇？咁走咁近，睇唔出佢啲規則嘅。係咯。一齊走咁即係點啫？你一齊咁排，就喺度轉咗彎出嚟。係咁，你排住隊嚟嘅，咁邊個做第一，邊個做最後邊啫？咁你話你 start point 都 different。嗰時候出嚟嗰時候要夠快，係咪啊？上落彎，因為上落彎。嚇？嗱，佢咪兜圈咯呢個？係咪會比賽嘛？
That's Switzerland.翻去啦，咁就呢個快啦。American 嘛，所以咪啲人咪飛咯。American 啊嘛，因為。Wow, it's much better day today than it was yesterday. Oh, there's people out. They crash. Those through.
As soon as we get in, the Bullock sprint leader goes the way of Deutsche Bank, Eric Rosberg, and his squad. Out in front, second place belongs to Rockwood John, and the Mars Flying Blues in the mix yet again. And this really opens the door for a team like North Star Canada and Giles Scott.
Yeah, it does. And I think the fleet's kind of lined up a little bit more to take this left turn. So it'll be interesting to see who's perfect to split away here.
North Star are going to still be able to go straight. I'd imagine it'll be Rockwell. They might have a little bit of take on that right turn. Traffic jam, that's a positive. But he's done a bit of extra distance to get there. Can they keep the speed up?
We're getting news, Stevie, that everyone's okay. No serious injuries down on the water. That's the good news. But those boats do not look good. We're hearing that the U.S. team has been disqualified. So there's the collision over the top of the U.S. LGP team. And Brazil. Just
Disqualified. So this will done.
So it stays as it is currently. We're going to have Canada, GBR, and Australia crews that are final.
the situation is this, Stevie. How do you avoid all the record just on the course right now?
Well, you can see it, you know it's there, your coach is telling you, so you just got to avoid that part of the course. But yeah, it does tactically limit where you can go.
This is the umpires. Penalty Germany not giving room at the boundary. Go with Australia.
Here we go, Rick. You see the talents turn up to try and avoid a bit over the start line, but they don't have any room, the Brazilians and the US team, to keep clear. They just set straight into it. On board the back of the US boat here, we can see, there you go, the Italians turn up, Brazil are coming in. This is the thing. The US just haven't seen them. So they're going straight, they've got to turn right. They're the windward boat, they're the boat nearer the wind. They've got to turn up and keep clear. Too early back to the start line, big rotation up from Bill Robertson. He has still got the wrong way here.
Meanwhile, the racing continues on. Giles Scott and North Star Canada have taken control of this one. The long fly Ruby Sig in third place. Nikolai Sandstedt and the Danes in second. Was checking down the water. Lisa, what did you see on that incident, and what is happening now as far as the conditions and the racing?
Yeah, obviously it was really scary to see that rest of one of these boats collide, but yeah, Italy was just way too early, came up really quickly, but not giving a lot of time for the other boats to avoid. Obviously they couldn't know that it was there, so yeah, really tough to see. Yeah, Canada's looking pretty strong out there, Australia also persevering, but it's a battle. Out here, nobody's safe at the moment with Fantastic.
Steve, I think the thing that I guess definitely amazed me or surprised me is at the start of the day it looked like the Punchline Rules had all the worst luck in the world. They had the damage to their boat, looks like they were, and then the first race they come out and finish in 9th place. And somehow Houdini Slingsby's had a chance to pull himself into it as the Emirates winning moment goes the way of North Star Canada. Giles Scott, when he needs it most, gets the win. It'll be Denmark, Rockwell Denmark finishing in second, and the Bones Flying Ruse will take third.
Yeah, I mean, Slingsby does deliver, but he's under pressure, and you know, you can only control what you can control. So the boat was obviously a problem. They had a bit of distraction, very bad start in the first race, but yeah, I mean, you've got to admire the reset, because that's just what world-class competitor does. I'm pretty sure in that race in the final, they're going to snuck themselves back into another final this year. They've just been on fire. You wouldn't bet against them either.
No. GBR, Emirates GBR will take 5th place. DS Team France will go 6th, and Explorer Switzerland will finish in 7th place. That leaves Artemis on the outside looking in. They will finish in dead last and 8th because Spain was unable to sail. The U.S., Italy, and Brazil all had a collision.
What I think we should be talking about, and obviously that incident's going to take a lot of the headlines. North Star Canada, they've had a really tough start to the season. There was some real signs of recovery in Bermuda, and they've sailed well. And when they got in the lead in that race, they were able to deliver to wrap up the 3 races and get you ready for the event.
Well, Stevie, this will be the moment that everyone will be talking about on Monday. What happened at the start box? And you called it. It was very congested. We were watching Germany look like they were perfectly set up, and then all of a sudden, chaos.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the thing to remember here is everyone anticipates that all the boats will head towards Mark White, but because Italy are early, Wilkerson doesn't get it penalty being over, so he then tries to sail the boat at a very unusual angle. He's perfectly entitled to do that, if that's the first thing to do that. The US team weren't expecting it. They haven't got anyone down on that situation, it looks like they're going to need to be really fast because that one's flying through is got more wind, better angle, and rolling over the top. The boys flying through are going to lead again at Mach 1. The British wanted to be up the line, so clearly it was a very fast angle from the upwind end of the line. With Emirates GBR, they were late, but they nearly rolled over the top of the other team bit.
At mark number 1 at the event final in New York City, it's the Bons Flying Rouge out in front. Emirates GBR sits in second, and North Star Canada tucks into third.
See that left turn being pretty strong in the previous fleet races. It'll be interesting to see if they all want that left turn or if someone's having to split away and take a bit more of a gap.
Australian boat are going to take it. I think Emirates GBR will follow, and I think North Star will split and try and find more space. I just imagine North Star are going to struggle to get down to it from where they are on the track. I expect to split down here, but Bons Flying Rouge, they've not been out front on the bend. Look up in the Oracle Cloud, not going badly there, are they? 40 miles an hour, 65 kilometres an hour. They've got a boat speed advantage as they head into gate 2.
They approach the DP World Gate, gate number 2. It is the Bons Flying Rouge.
There, he split the last round. It was too late for the Bons Flying Rouge to be able to cover that off. We've got a split. Now it's about where is their more wind on the racetrack. Hanston and Fletcher see that little bit more wind. It's going to send them up the race course faster. Speed's pretty similar, but there's more wind on the Australians. So more wind should mean advantage Slingsby.
Control what's happening on the other side of the course. They know that they're going to have to sail as fast as possible and at the best angle to try and give themselves the best chance.
I think what they know is on that first manoeuvre out of the bottom gate, if you go as wide as possible, you then open up the course tactically later on. So you're like, okay, I'm rolling the dice a little bit here, but that's going to give me a chance to control things further on. This is a big moment. Does Slingsby turn in front of Emirates GBR, try and shut the door, or does he think he's going to push the left? That's a big moment, all going to depend on if they can make the next gate. Emirates GBR, they're going to make it as well, so Slingsby could have turned sooner, could have shut the door over the British there. Fletcher's found a way through.
So here we go. It's Emirates GBR. They will off that right-hand side. The Bons Flying Rouge yield first place to the Brits. So it's Emirates GBR in first. The Bons Flying Rouge of Australia in second. Here comes North Star Canada. Looks like they are going to split the course.
They are, but they've just got really slow. They've fallen off the foil, so they're losing a lot of distance here, the Canadian boat. The race for the win here is between Australia and Great Britain. I've said that a few times before. But on that upwind leg, I'm not sure if it was more wind. I think it was just the British managed to minimise manoeuvres. They got all the way to the boundary early, got to the next gate with no more manoeuvres, and that's turned into a 50, 60 metre lead.
Wow, you talk about what Lisa said. It's kind of patchy out there. The Canadians, sailed into a pocket of no wind. Now it's picking back up as they are approaching 60 kilometers an hour. Look at the loss, 200 meters to the Bons Flying Rouge, and it is Emirates GBR about an 80-meter lead.
North Star is going to rely on something unthinkable between those first two boats, really, to get themselves back in it. Fletcher made a gain by going right at the bottom last time. What does he do here? Looks like he's going to have to go left. What do you reckon, Hannah? Right turn for Australia?
Well, they're going to have to do 2 manoeuvres to get down there, but it's a long way to that.
Execute that beautifully done. Maybe a slight gain to the Australians on that downwind, and now it's all about, is it a gain to Australia? That's where the British made a gain last time, so Australia's going back to the favoured sides of the course. Can they make it work for them?
So Stevie strategically, the Bons Flying Rouge and Tom Slingsby do what Dylan Fletcher did and stretch this thing all over
With the British.
Here we
If he
go.
thinks he's ahead, he'll sail a normal angle. If he thinks he's behind, he'll aim at them, he'll go fast and try and give them that same difficult decision. There you go, Tash Bright. He says we've got to go behind. Right away, Emirates GBR.
It's a gain to them on the left-hand side, though, isn't it?
Big game. I don't know with this dip that they're having to do, whether they'll be able to make it to the top gate now. I think they'll have to do another manoeuvre. Emirates GBR will do one more manoeuvre to get there.
Dylan Fletcher not making it easy for Tom Slingsby, and Slingsby turns back into it. So look at the speeds on top of the mast. It's 50 for Emirates GBR, 44 right now for the Bons Flying Rouge. And what's interesting about this, Stevie, the last time Emirates GBR won an event, you have to go back to event 1 to start the season in Perth. They haven't won since then. Meanwhile, the Bons Flying Rouge are trying to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, the Bons Flying Rouge have almost unplayable, haven't they? Hugh Fletcher would be back. He's got that kind of quality. But they're desperate to take the win here. Looks like a big angle change. Look at that big wind shift on the Australians. They're sailing nearly straight up the ladders. That's going to be making big gains, but they're going to be going slower for doing it. will be less easy to make that game.
Let's go down the water. Lisa Darman on leg 5 of 7. Did the Bombs Flying Ruse make the right call?
Oh, it's so hard. I think it was tough that they had to do that evasive manoeuvre and avoid the British. The British, they're coming in so fast at the moment, so even if the Australians make this turn, the British, they could slingshot around, but it actually looks like the Aussies might do it here.
I think it was incredible there. They got under 30 kilometres an hour, but Jason Woodhouse managed to get on the wall, so the breathing was not too much. Advantage Australia.
Speed as they would make their way down as they cleared gate 5. Dylan Fletcher, the first one to turn away, trying to send a stern wind the way of the Bombs Flying Ruse. Meanwhile, Canada out the back, and this is a battle for first and second. This is a battle for supremacy in Sail GP Season 6.
A better manoeuvre by the British. Again, he's going to try and get onto the wind of the Australians. If he can move forward a little bit, he'll put the stern wind onto that Australian boat. Less wind means less speed, but right now, just clearing the wind ahead. The wind's coming from slightly in front of the British boat here as they're going so fast downwind. Australia, he's losing out, but he's got control tactically. The British cannot manoeuvre from there.
How about this? We come down to the penultimate leg, leg 6 of 7, and it's man on man. It's Australia versus Great Britain. These are the two heavyweights in Season 6. Can Tom Slingsby get it done? It's going to come down to this last maneuver.
He knows it's difficult for Dylan from here. The Australians tactically got perfect control. Slingsby, wow, he was praised. Oh, he's not allowed to do that. Oh, that'll be a protest. He's forced the issue there. Surely that's a foul by Emirates GBR. It's going to go to the umpires, but it's first up on the foils, the Bombs Flying Ruse. They've got the rights on the inside. Emirates must give them space. Australians are going to keep clear. This is going to go to the umpires. This is all about how Craig Mitchell saw those two incidents.
And the Emirates winning moment for the time being goes the way of the Bombs Flying Ruse. They make it 3 for 3.
Just heard from Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell, no penalty on either. Oh my word. We often talk about the racing rules getting to the grey. That was really tight racing. Brilliant action here in New York. What a finish.
Tightest finish we've seen all year long, and in the end, it is the Bombs Flying Ruse that reign supreme in New York City. How about that for a finish? I mean, I think the look on Ben Ainsley's face kind of said it all, Stevie. He thought they had it, but then Fletcher decides to roll the dice and fortunately came up snake eyes.
Yeah, I mean, Aussie's had control of that situation tactically the whole way. Dylan did a brilliant job of rolling over the top, making it so hard. Staggered there wasn't a penalty, to be honest. It looked very aggressive to me. Slingsby played the game well. He's absolutely on fire. Yeah, what a race it was. Neither team went behind.
6 events this year, they have won 4 of them as they continue to pile up. They have won 3 titles, they're looking for their 4th. Let's go back and look at the highlights of this amazing event final here in New York City.
Yeah, that's right. And it was the Bombs Flying Ruse who originally had that controlling position, but North Star Canada just managed to sneak underneath them. And it was neck and neck at the start line, but the Bombs Flying Ruse had slightly better speed. And then Emirates GBR came back with a better angle all the way to Mark 1, making it super close for this first start of the race.
And that is a wrap for our race. It is over.
They did behind Australia. I'm surprised Australians didn't turn directly in front of the British here. Because they just opened the door, you don't open the door for Dylan Fletcher and Hannah Mills.
Okay, that's right. I think it's a race where you're trying to force the other team to make a mistake, and that's exactly what happened here, just going a little bit too far. These sailors know the boat so well, and as the conditions were changing, it was really neck and neck until this close moment just before Emirates GBR trying to manoeuvre, forced that manoeuvre onto the Bombs Flying Ruse, which came away with no penalty.
I mean, that was so tight for me, that was. But anyway, Australia win. I think that's the right outcome from that.
Australia won.
And the Emirates fly time goes the way of the winning team 100% as the Australians get it done. Perfect, but look how close this was. They came across the finish line, and the Bombs Flying Ruse will claim their 4th win here in Season 6. Let's go down on the water. Emirates GBR, a great race for Dylan Fletcher. All day long, they were in from Tom Slingsby.
Yeah, get set.
into it, and then and then unfortunately didn't quite. I think Contara, can you hear us podcast?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, so I think it's just frustrating. We kind of thought that was a penalty on the Australians, so we need to.
You did seem to have pretty good boat speed though on that race to get back in it. Must be encouraging after the last couple of events.
Yeah. Team after some difficult bits, they're getting back to our normal selves. I guess right now we're just a bit frustrated. Feeling like we get it and very got back into it. And ultimately, I guess we left it in the umpire's hands, which is not what we want to do.
So very close, Dylan. We appreciate your time. You, Stu Biffle, everyone on the boat. Congratulations. You pick up the 9 season points, so that will close the gap. Obviously, great job, and we look forward to seeing you guys in Halifax. So the Bombsline Roos will celebrate on the Hudson River as they will claim the top prize here. And once again, they make it 3 for 3 as they win in Rio, they win in Bermuda, and now they win in New York City in the shadows of Lady Liberty. Let's send it down on the water and Lisa Dormanin.
Tom, you broke the New York curse. It wasn't looking good yesterday. It wasn't looking good at the beginning of the race, but how good does it feel to win 3 in a row?
Yeah, I mean, that's we had the rights, they had the rights, umpires rolled in our favour, and yeah, so 3 times winners, we're very happy.
And how tricky was the racing today? It just looked so challenging.
That was so tough today, that's one of the hardest days I've done. Such a good job, and our short team just did an amazing job. I mean, I thought we weren't going to be racing, we had that many broken things and problems, and the
champagne as the prize giving will now progress. They'll get themselves on the other side, so all the media folks, we can get some good shots of them as they.
Yeah, they are absolutely rare in that.
That's pretty cool though. They give a shout out to the short.
The short teams do. These boats cannot sail without.
Here we go.
Yeah, keep yourself clear of that champagne. I mean, it's a team, they're on a roll, they're sailing brilliantly. But as I say, always with this Australian team, when they're confident, they're really, really hard to beat.
So they can celebrate out on the Hudson as they win their 3rd race in the war.
Congratulations. Germany.
Great final race with a chance to make the finals. We did that. We sailed incredible, and then race 3, unfortunately, massive stack up at the start, and 3 boats came together, which none of us want to be part of. None of the teams here want to be part of, but it happens. And yeah, we got to kind of figure out who was at fault. It's going to be kind of bang bang to figure out, exactly who turned where, who had enough room, who responded and who didn't. But yeah, we leave tonight pretty disappointed, but also have a lot of positives for earlier in the day.
Still raced at home, even at 1 spot.
Yeah, where we want to be, right? Overall, we're improving. We're not focused on the result. We're focused on the process. We've improved a ton this year, and we're going to continue to improve. We had great starts today. Good comms on board. We were fighting, and just ended up wrong place, wrong time in race 3, which is a real heartbreaker in front of our home crowd. But I think SailGP overall put on a hell of a show today.
Anyone else want to speak with Mike?
Squeeze in everyone. Just step forward. And just take a step forward, guys.
Right over here, looking right here. 1, 2, 3. Taking a couple more.
Smile, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Great.
Brilliant. Thank you. Tom, where's the champagne?
Huh?
We need you to join the sign, the selfie, and then the signing.
No, we did a selfie down there. Yeah. We're always pointing to that.
some point. Yeah, and yeah, just stoked for that race, really.
So in the podium final race and stuff like that, tell me a little.
Very close race. We made a mistake at the bottom and gave them the split. We got a fantastic shift.
It was a race
course,
of just changing places all the
got
time.
around ahead, and then we made back ahead, and then a mistake at the drive, and then
fight until the end.
had a bit of
And
everything.
every race counted for so much today. Did you have that feeling that there was an extra factor on every manoeuvre and every decision?
Yeah, it did feel like that with just 3 races and then into the final. Yeah, it felt
At the end of the day,
super high pressure in terms of every single bar rounding, every
with
single
some
move,
good
every
points,
decision.
you're still in the mix with the leaderboard.
So, yeah,
You recaptured the momentum that you were talking about tomorrow.